Welcome, welcome. My name is Writer Maven. I am the host of the Wrestling Received podcast. I talk about all things Judgment Day. Liv, Raquel, Finn, Carlito, JD, Roxanne now. This was such a refreshing and eventful Raw. We had Judgment Day all over Monday Night Raw. And remember what I've always said. When Judgment Day is all over Raw, Raw flows better. We had multiple segments with Judgment Day. It just wasn't a 30-second segment like it had been before. We had multiple segments. We had 3 segments and 2 matches. And they all advanced the story in some way. I was just really happy about that. We're back to where we were last year, where Judgment Day was just all over the place. So, like I said, when Judgment Day is all over Raw, Raw flows better. Even though there were some boring parts, like with Seth in the beginning, like I didn't really care for Seth and what he was talking about. But when we hit Judgment Day business, everything just started clicking. Yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of a gloat because yesterday I called Dom accidentally costing Finn on purpose. And what did Dom do tonight? Cost Finn accidentally on purpose. That chair slide was smooth. He slid it to the middle of the ring, waited, and then so Finn would have to get it. And then it looked like Dom actually signaled to Seth to use the chair on Finn, kind of like how he did with Liv at King and the Queen of the Ring last year. Remember, when he slid that chair into the ring for Becky, it looked like he signaled to Liv to use the chair on Becky. So here tonight, it looks like Dom signaled Seth to use the chair on Finn. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that a little bit more, but it would be wild if it ends up that Dom actually signaled Seth to use that chair on Finn. And we also, it looks like we're shifting more from a love triangle because Pat McAfee was shutting that down pretty hard on commentary. So it doesn't look like it's going to be a love triangle. It looks like this is going to be a Judgment Day split. And by Judgment Day split, it's either Liv Dom going off on their own like Bonnie and Clyde and leaving Finn for Judgment Day, or we have it where Finn is just finally kicked out. I'm not sure on how I want either way to go because if it's Liv and Dom leaving Judgment Day, that faction is going to fall off hard, especially in the face of Seth and his little faction and his little group. So if Liv and Dom leave, then that's it for Judgment Day. Period. But if Finn gets kicked out, you might get a little bit more life to it. I think me personally, I would want Dom and Liv just to take over just because Dom's been in it the longest, and I want Dom to have that leadership position finally. Like everybody else has pretty much had a turn. Like I wanted to finally be Dom's turn, but that's just me thinking and acting selfishly here. But if it does end up being Liv, Dom, and them against the world, so be it. I'll deal with it. But just me personally, I just want Dom to have his leadership position, especially since she's been posting stuff about Finn's grinning, and Finn is grinning way too much. Have y'all noticed that? Like Finn is it's like really obvious, and like when you're really that obvious, and remember I keep telling y'all Triple H ain't subtle. Triple H isn't subtle, so if Finn is grinning like that, then something's going to happen to him. So let's just kind of get into Raw. Oh, EO Finn's crying about Heard Like a Time. What did we say that what was going to happen with this title? We told you so. When you're stuck in the Rhea Ripley vortex, this is what happens. EO is just a placeholder and a belt warmer until they decide to give the belt back to Rhea. And I really don't get why they're stalling on giving the belt back to Rhea. Like, we know it's going to happen. We know. Like, why are we stalling? Why is EO stunted with a 30-second segment, or even that bad, maybe a 20-second segment, because it was mostly focused in on Liv and Kari, which I'll get into. But, like, we told you this is what happened. This is what happened with Liv. Like, everything is focused on Rhea, and you're in a stuck holding position until they finally decide to have Rhea fight with her to get her belt back. And like I said, we told you so. I can't even feel sorry for him. Like, we told you so. The same thing would have happened with Bianca. And even Bianca fans now are really thankful she didn't even get the belt, because I saw somebody, a Bianca fan, say, like, I would be crashing out if all I saw of Bianca was like 30 seconds every Raw. And speaking of Rhea, I'm gonna get her out the way because I don't want to be talking about her when I'm going through all this Judgment Day stuff. But what the fuck is she only getting a promo and Mommy in the Bank? You know she's gonna win it just by them labeling it like that, Mommy in the Bank. A title her ex gave her is Mommy in the Bank. I pretty much looked at that and tuned out because I'm like, just one promo. I know she was there because I saw her walk into the arena. So why is your biggest star that they say that she has to be involved in all the title matches and she has to be doing this and she's carrying the company? Why is she doing just a promo? Man, Cody Rhodes did more and he was out for a while. He actually came out to save somebody on Saturday Night Main Event. But here with Rhea, she just gets a promo? Roxanne was doing more. Roxanne is actually in the Money in the Bank match right now. She's bouncing all over the place with the Judgment Day stuff. But your actual star, the one that blows the roof off, and Triple H won't be paying attention to the online fans because the fans in the arena mean more. You're gonna only treat them to a 30-second or a minute promo. Like, get the fuck out. But that's my rant on Rhea for that now, because I was like, that's just really wild that you just have her for a 30-second promo, and then you got Io, your champion, getting a 30-second promo, and then you got Lyra here, who's actually being your Intercontinental Champion, finally getting some promo time. But I digress. So, before I get into that, I remember now that there was Io fans that wanted Liv to like challenge Io, and I'm like, nah, stay on this side. You can't be wanting Liv now when it looks, when Liv could probably give Io a good match. No, stay on this side. You know, Io has to deal with the vortex like everybody else got to deal with the vortex. So, anywho, I digress. Monday Night Raw, we have the Judgment Day Clubhouse. Dom is playing video games with Carlito. Peep that Dom was looking back for a while before Roxanne came in. I'm not sure if this was like a mixed cue, like if Roxanne was late or Dom was early in his queue, or was it that Dom was just expecting Liv or Roxanne there? It's kind of interesting. And notice that the skull was looking at Dom too. Roxanne comes in with nuggets and wants to massage on Dom's shoulder. Dom is immediately not with it. This is not a always peep Dom's facial expressions. He was confused. So compare Dom's expressions here to last year. When Liv was, pursuing Dom, we saw his facial expressions like he couldn't, he was always around Liv. They were touching each other. He had those, desired looks for Liv. Now compare that looks from last year to this year. With Roxanne, it's like he really didn't want another part of it. Then when Liv comes in, konnichiwa, bitches. Finn is all grinning like a snake because Liv has arrived and she doesn't like what she sees. Roxanne tried to introduce herself and like, Roxanne, why are we introducing yourself when, like, you weren't on the tag team earlier this year before Elimination Chamber? Why are we doing that? So that was kind of odd. But and then like Liv kind of shuts her down, and then she gets into, she starts addressing Dom, saying that Raquel has told her everything, and she leaves with Raquel to talk to Pierce about getting in Money in the Bank. Now, Dom calls Raquel Shimosa, snitch. So I'm wondering here. There's a couple of things here. First, how is Raquel telling Liv everything if Dom is also talking to Liv? So this is piquing my curiosity, especially with Dom calling Raquel a Shimosa. Like, is it that Dom is on to maybe Raquel trying to embellish things as relates to Dom now? Because like somebody was saying, like maybe the little drop hint of, Dom saying, "Hey, she was talking to me," when Raquel was saying that she misses Liv. Maybe that was more of an indicator of a split happening than we thought. I thought it was more like going to be like a sibling thing, but now maybe that's more of an indicator that they're heading for a Raquel and Liv split. And with Dom and Liv being in communication, maybe they've sussed out that Raquel is trying to spin things into her favor. Could be. Um, and again, like last year, this is a departure from last year because Dom did not talk to Rhea last year. Here, we have been told that Dom has been in communication with Liv. And even he brought up the whole time zone thing, which was hilarious to me. Um, Again, Finn is grinning like an idiot, and when that happens, it just means that um, they're being really obvious with Finn trying to stow discord. And even Cole, towards the end of the night during the Money in the Bank qualifier, was saying that Cole was saying that Finn is creating Dissent and the Judgment Day. So they're pretty much laying it all out right now. They're being obvious about it, and they're not being subtle. So they're pretty much saying that, hey, Finn is trying to cause shit in the Judgment Day. They're not trying to like do a whole bunch of cloak and dagger type stuff right now, and I kind of find that refreshing because we can also get word. We can. There's a lot of things that can happen. They can play it straight, where they just have it where just Liv and Dom or just onto Finn shit, and they just go that way, or they can swerve some things around. Because right now it's looking like maybe they're just going to split Liv and Raquel, and maybe Roxanne gets in there some kind of way. We might end up with being with like Liv Dom Roxanne instead of Liv Dom Raquel. But I will have to see more when it evolves in the coming weeks. Um, and another thing is that Dom pushed off Roxanne quick. Again, like I was trying to be messy on the X tonight, where I was saying that Dom reacted like he should have reacted last year if he was still loyal to Rhea. Like he wasn't having it with Roxanne, and he pushed her off real quick. Like it was just, and I'm not seeing any of the chemistry. Like you could try and see chemistry. Like there's chemistry between Dom and Rhea, and there's chemistry with Liv and Dom, but I'm not seeing any kind of chemistry with Roxanne and Dom. So I don't even think they're going to go that route. If they do, I'll be shocked. But right now, there's nothing, or it's just like it's nothing where the fanfic writer and maybe be like, huh. Like I was doing my little theory that maybe they had a fling in NXT, but that's just me trying to add some context and history to the story. Now it's just like, I don't think that's gonna work. Um, so we had that for the Clubhouse. And then next segment we had Liv, Cody, and Io. Liv and Raquel walk up on Kari and Io. Liv is declaring her intent to enter Money in the Bank to win the briefcase and win the title. I am really happy that Liv is finally really declaring herself that she wants the title again. Like it's been long enough. Rhea's gone through her shit. We had to go through that whole Rhea winning the title bullshit at the Netflix premiere. So now Liv is starting to declare her intent for the title, which I'm happy about. And then she makes fun of Kari for not qualifying, and then Kari challenges Liv to a match. So she was on her way. Liv was on her way to Adam Pearce for the Money in the Bank qualifier. So we will probably see that qualifier on next Raw. It's going to be Liv. We don't know her next opponents for that. Maybe that's Ivy Nile and Maxine. Maybe I'm not sure, but we at least know that Liv was probably going to be in that qualifier next week for the final Money in the Bank spot. And then we got Cody versus Liv. Now Cole calls Raquel a snitch, and I'm like, okay, Cole, where is this narrative going? You remember how I was bitching about how they were talking about why Dom wasn't there? Now we're gonna figure out why this is important later on when I talk about Finn. But it was just really interesting to go like, okay, bro, Raquel's a snitch, and I'm like, huh, Cole, what? Are we now on Dom's side now? Maybe they're changing the narrative again to flip it back around to Dom's benefit. I don't know, but it was just interesting for that to be called out by Cole. And then Roxanne comes out there to help um Liv, and then Raquel and Roxanne end up arguing about it, which distracts Liv, which gets Cody to pin Liv with the roll up. Now, it is there's no doubt about it that Raquel cost Liv the match. Like, this isn't even something like accidental where Roxanne was doing something and it looked like, and then it just ends up with Raquel costing Liv accidentally. Now, she cost her the match just by starting the argument with Roxanne. Like, she could have argued with Roxanne after after Liv took out Cuddy. Like, don't do it now. Save that shit for later. What is that? Like Mike Snow said, like, if she wanted to argue with Roxanne, that could have happened after the match. And then here we go again, back into the Judgement Day Clubhouse for the second time. Finn is still grinning like an idiot, and somebody really needs to punch him with that grin. That grin is annoying me greatly. Raquel is trying to defend herself, and note that Dom did not snitch on Raquel, so that's a departure here. So we got earlier tonight, it looks like Raquel was snitching on Dom, but when Dom had an opportunity to talk badly about Raquel, he didn't do it, which is really interesting and a nice, interesting split here of what's going on. Liv pretty much says to Raquel that Raquel is the veteran and she should know better, which is true. Ben is still grinning like an idiot, and Roxanne is kind of smirking when Liv leaves, and then Dom is the only one that chases after Liv. And then it's at this point that I think that Liv and Dom had their talk, and they probably figured some other things out on what is possibly going on. Also note the split where you have a split of Finn, Raquel, and Roxanne. So you have them on one side, and then on the other side, it's Liv, Dom, JD, and Carlito. So that's really interesting split there. And then Dom was the only one to chase after Liv. And then we get into the Money in the Bank qualifier. And like I said earlier, Cole was saying that Finn is instigating things, so it's out in the open. Like, they're not doing any kind of cloak and dagger or anything like that. It's out in the open where Cole is saying that Finn is instigating things with Judgment Day. Put down the talk of a love triangle, so I don't think they're going with the love triangle here. And then here, like I said earlier, Dom came out pretty much out of nowhere and slid that chair in the center of the ring. That chair slide is smooth. Like, Dom rarely misses his marks. So when he's got to do something, he's going to do it. And he slid that chair so perfect into the ring where Finn had to pick it up, and then Seth curb stomped him. And like I said, it looked like Dom might have signaled to Seth to use the chair. And then we get pin Balor again. Now, I was cackling like a mad woman when this happened, and if you heard me cackling all the way from Austin, Texas, that was me. If you heard any kind of cackle. The whole ending was like so chaotic. I knew Seth was going to win. I knew Seth was going to win that match. Like, there was no, I was put that there was like next to no chance of Finn winning that match. Like, Sammy, I would put Sammy in a greater position of winning the match. I was like, I knew Finn wasn't going to win that match. So there, that is Monday Night Raw. Like I said, this was a jam-packed Monday Night Raw. We got a lot of stuff. I'm really happy about it. Now it feels like the storyline is finally moving forward. For months, we've been pulling our hair, gnashing our teeth regarding this storyline. We wanted Finn gone, and I still want Finn gone. But at least now, at least now we are now getting a lot of major storyline development, and I'm really happy about that. And everything is like a shade of last year. Everything is like either an inversion of what happened last year or a lift of what happened last year. Like, with the chair. Like Dom did the same thing for Liv last year, but instead of helping Liv win the title, Dom was costing Finn his shot. And we'll see the fallout of that, of what happens for that next Monday. Like I said, for my overall thoughts, we're either getting a Dom and Liv taking over Judgment Day or Liv and Dom leaving Judgment Day. And like I said earlier today, I think Judgment Day is cooked if Liv and Dom leave. I can't see what they can do. I mean, listen to Finn's reaction now. Like, even with all the shenanigans and like him instigating stuff with Dom right now, it still didn't help him. Like, if he turns and stays heel, against Dom, like Dom is gonna get cheered, Liv is gonna get cheered, and they're just gonna be dead in the water. That's why I really wanted Raquel to get built up. Like, I think this is a little too soon for Raquel, because if they do a split, I think Raquel will be fish out of water because they've done nothing really to establish herself. Now they could probably start doing that now, and I really hope they do, because that's going to be really unfair to Raquel to kind of throw her out there without doing anything for her. And it looks like they're accelerating the Liv Raquel split. We can also get Raquel and Roxanne working together, which is possible. They do have a little bit of history, or they can go with Liv, Dom, and Roxanne. Like, it's like, so maybe Roxanne comes around, or she's already been a part of Liv and Dom's plan, and then it's Raquel that gets kicked out. So you could do something like that. It's still too early to tell. It's kind of all over the place, and I'm seeing some threads forming, but it's still kind of too early to tell. Also, I figured out that we have one more Money in the Bank qualifying spot. Now, we're going to have a Money in the Bank qualifier for the men on SmackDown, and that's where Jacob Fatu is in it. So I don't think they're going to do a double qualifier for the men on SmackDown, because I think they ran out of men on SmackDown already. So you're going to have the men's with Jacob Fatu and whoever those other two guys are. I think it's going to be Carmelo. And then you're going to have the women's, which is Naomi, Jade, and Nia Jax. So for Raw, there is a huge chance that Dom gets into the Money in the Bank qualifier, because AJ came around and started some shit with Chad Gable again. So here's what I think. You can have Dom in the qualifier with AJ and maybe Karrion Kross. I don't know. I'm not even sure they want to put Karrion in there. Like, it's weird what they're doing with Karrion Kross. So they may not even put him in there. They're going to have people online pissed off again. But I don't think they want to do that. So it might be just another person. Maybe it's Karrion, maybe it's not. So what I'm thinking, you can have Dom in there, and then AJ and Dom are beefing to set up like later on for their match. And I don't think it's going to be at Money in the Bank. I think that's just going to be at Night of Champions. And I've always said that, because you're going to need to have all hands on deck for that PLE, because all champions defend their belts on that PLE. So you're gonna need to save one. You have to save that IC match for that PLE. So what I'm thinking is you're gonna have Dom and AJ scrapping. You're gonna have Chad Gable, because he's pissed off about getting blitzed by AJ tonight. He's gonna come in, and since it's a triple threat match, he's gonna cost AJ, and then Dom's probably gonna end up winning. So we're gonna get Dom and Liv in the Money in the Bank qualifier, and it'll be really interesting. Because now we have the tension with Liv and Roxanne in the Money in the Bank for the women, so that gives that match a story. Dom in the Money in the Bank qualifier gives tension to Finn, because he keeps falling short and Dom is just keep going up and up and up on the card. Like he's in the Money in the Bank qualifier, he's the Intercontinental Champion, and he's just right now he's skyrocketing. So you can have that added tension with Dom being in a Money in the Bank match other than Finn. And then Finn might even try to come out and start some shit during that Money in the Bank qualifier, but he's going to get thwarted because Dom has already gotten things spun into his favor. Like he has Chad pretty much as the favor, but Chad is still pissed off with Penta and he's still pissed off with AJ. And now that AJ and Chad are starting to fight a little bit, Chad has a reason to interrupt that match with AJ if there's a qualifier with him in it next week. So Dom has his bases covered. And another thing with this night with Raw, it pretty much shows how smart Dom is because a lot of people are just going to be pointing out, oh, Dom is gullible. Dom's going to be following after chicken tendies, and we're going to have the breakup of Liv and Dom. Now look at how everything's switched up now. By the end of the night, Dom was looking like the smartest person in the arena. He got back at Finn. He's not going to be in the Money in the Bank. He cost him his shot, just like Liv got her, match messed up by Roxanne. He's got Liv back, and he's pretty much got everything to where it's back to flip to his favor. So this is why you can't just follow the surface level things with Dom. People always just look at it like, oh, he's just like chicken titties and he's turning his head at women, when that has obviously not been the case. Like, I can tell when people don't really look deep into the storyline, and that's fair. It's wrestling. Sometimes you just have a surface level viewing of wrestling. But if they looked any deep into Dom's character, they would know that he is more than chicken tendies, and that he doesn't turn his head at every woman. That's why the whole cheating thing or Dom just going after another woman never made sense, because he never did that. Like, everybody always want to say that he's going to go after a woman, but does he do it? No. Like, when Tiffany was flirting with him, did he go after Tiffany? No. Like, here, Roxanne, was he looking at Roxanne and being really interested in Roxanne? No. Like, just because you drop a woman in Dom's path does not mean he's turning. And I think they are expecting like something out of Eddie's playbook with them, but that's never been a part of Dom's character. Just like how part of Dom's character is that he will turn on you only when you use him and you treat him badly. That's a part of his character trait. And with Finn treating Dom badly, you know that he's going to turn on Finn soon. Just like what he did with Ray, just like what he did with Edge, just like what he did with Damian and Rhea. It's a pattern. But people don't want to see that. They just want to see like he's a chicken titty guy, and they think that he's going to start chasing after women, and he's never done that.